Howdy, welcome to Spider and Old Scooter again. The subtle promotion of two books of Scooter authorship. Isn't that subtle? Tonight's game is the overpopulation game. I'll expand on that. In the meanwhile, we're here to play Spider Solitaire, if we can say it. If you can say it, you can play it. All right, I put the screen in the wrong place again. I am a fallible human being. So we will play a new game. I'll play it as efficiently and as rationally as I possibly can, just in deference to those of you who prefer efficient rationality, of which I'm sure there's a bunch of you. What I'm going to show you tonight with the orange and the overpopulation thing is something that I actually did before I became enamored of talking to myself on the internet. Because I'm deeply concerned. I don't know how deeply I am concerned, but I am concerned about sort of what humanity is doing to the planet. Pardon me. Every night it happens. You know, I try to avoid it. I clear my throat for about 10 minutes before I start, and then boom, there you go. Calf, calf, cough, cough. But my concern, of which I spake, was I'm doing restacking in sort of a irrational fashion. Never mind what I promoted earlier. But we're messing up the planet, and it was brought back, and of course everybody knows that in some way, you know, the great plastic swirl, the huge mid-Pacific gyre, or is it gyre? Gyre, you know what I mean, of plastic waste, and now we're messing up the atmosphere. Fruit flies, they frequently join me for the game. But we're making a mess. But anyway, I was reminded of it by this whole METI thing, M-E-T-I, messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, to which I dedicated a game a few days ago. If you want to hear about METI, go watch the METI game. Here at the METI games. And about the whole business about why we don't see more aliens, if there are so many millions of habitable planets out there, as our new occultation techniques of finding planets is proving. And my goodness, new super telescopes are coming. We're going to learn so much wonderful stuff. But we're not actually seeing or hearing on the radios, all the giant radio telescopes we listen to the universe with. We're not hearing the kind of radio you would expect from a civilization, or a technical civilization. Technical enough, at least, to use radio, or lasers, or some form of radiation that goes out into space, which could be spotted by an alert SETI-type search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And one of the reasons somebody finally figured out, because the universe is so old, whatever, 13, 14 billion years, since the Big Bang. That was a Big Bang. That civilizations erupt on life-bearing planets and last for a while, say 10, 20,000 years. And then something goes amok and they destroy themselves, or they're destroyed by a terrible disease or a giant asteroid strike or something that knocks them down, probably caused by themselves, just judging on our little old human existence here. So maybe they existed for 10, 15,000, 20,000 years on this planet after they evolved over millions of years, finally making it up to the intelligence level, starting civilizations, and then somehow destroying themselves. And that in the formula for how many aliens we ought to see at any given moment, like now, uses the variable t. T being the length of time that civilizations last, making some assumptions. You could make 20,000 years or 50,000 years. Unless you make them extremely long-lived, like 100, 200,000 year long civilization survivals, they just blink on and off all over the universe for 20,000 years. And in the context of 14 billion years, these are just tiny little peeps when there's actually somebody who might send out a radio signal. And then they discover atomic energy and blow each other up, or they discover biology and kill each other off with terrible plagues. Somehow they don't last all that long, and we might not. I don't know why we would be immune to that particular, except nobody will believe it. That's one of the problems, of course. We'd never kill ourselves off. Well, anyway, then we get to the orange. But I'm not doing well in this game. Is it because I'm talking about one of my favorite subjects? Probably not. So anyway, humanity is, in fact, has crossed a barrier a long time ago where it can continue to extend its proliferation, its growth, its longevity, all things that would contribute to a population size. So we're getting more and more populous, and it is likened to, we are something like a mold that's taking over an orange. And the orange is good, healthy orange, and when the mold totally covers it, it will do serious damage to the skin, the peel, if you will. And I don't know, 10 years ago or so, I downloaded a program for simple automation. Tried to do a stop action. I put the orange up on a post, which led to the early demise of the orange, alas. And I would turn it a little bit every day and take a picture. And then I realized that was silly, so I just sat there and did it hundreds of turns with a picture for each turn as a setup so you could see. Then once a week I'd come shoot another turn or two of it so you could see how the mold had advanced and how there was some simple little analogy there that was kind of like us overrunning the planet and overwhelming its ability to support us. But it didn't come out well. It was sort of jerky, and I didn't have the software to smooth out the jerks. A great piece of software, smooth out the jerks, and apply it to all the politicians we know. Although a couple of the politicians I know are non-jerkish. I like both of New Mexico's senators. I like our congressman, which is a congresswoman, of course, but it's apparently very common. Everybody likes their congressperson, but doesn't think much about Congress, much of Congress. I must be almost through. On the last deal, I didn't even punch a single hole. I haven't made any scores. Haven't done any brilliant backtracking. I haven't gotten any strokes of luck. But it is a giant conundrum. What the heck do you do? The Chinese tried to limit, one kid per family, and it led to incredibly weird, unexpected outcomes. Like selective abortion to make sure you got a boy instead of a girl and various things. And of course it's pushed up the age, the average demographics of the Chinese people immensely, as anything except, sending people to the ovens will drive up the demographics, and we'll become nations of elderly folks like me. I'm an elderly folk, bona fide. And I'm through with this game. There's probably more I can do, but I'm through with this game. I've had my say. I got to show you the corroding orange. Trump is out there dispersing the tweets like those hedgehog weapons on ships, particularly in World War II, but still they've got something like this where they suspect a submarine is in their neighborhood and they shoot out these missiles, call them a hedgehog. Lots of missiles go out and land all over and perhaps catch a submarine. Blow a hole in its side, drown all of its guys, sink its weaponry, war. But tweeting, they're not quite as deadly as hedgehogs, but I mean, they go in all directions. And he's out there trying to insult his Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, into resigning, I guess. That's what he's trying to do. Or my theory, of course, is he's doing what he's told to do, which is to raise Cain and preoccupy the press and keep all of our minds off the way he's destroying the fabric of our government, turning us into a plutocracy, all that other stuff. But I don't think it's worth much commentary today. After all, we got to deal with the orange. What am I going to call it? The orange. Check you later.